Hello everyone, welcome to another vlog. So yesterday I was going through the placement stats of some leading B schools, and it was interesting the trends that I notice now as compared to, let's say, what used to be the case about a decade ago. If you go back 8-10 years and you ask students at a B school what would be their most wanted job or desired recruiter, the most common names you would get would be those of investment banks. Lehman Brothers, the now erstwhile Lehman Brothers, Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley, Solomon Smith Barney. The investment banks would be the most wanted jobs on campus. Now I think the focus has shifted more to consulting. While consulting used to be popular earlier also, right now I think the most popular jobs would be McKinsey, a BCG, a Bain, and the investment banks I think have now mostly gone out of favor. For various reasons, including the financial crisis. In fact, private equity and venture capital are still very popular with a niche group, but those are very niche jobs which take in very few people and they visit very few campuses. So if you look at the broader picture, I think the one industry which has moved up and taken the place of iBanks would be your tech companies. Google, of course, is a highly desired recruiter. You would have Amazon, you would have Facebook, Apple, Microsoft. I think these are the guys who've now taken the place of the iBanks. So if you go through the list of top 10 recruiters in most leading schools, you will see consulting companies and these new age tech companies dominating the list. Talking about consulting, since consulting tends to be a very popular choice as a career goal for most students, if you are mentioning consulting as your career goal, make sure you've read up on consulting, you know exactly what a consulting company does, because there are several kinds of consulting companies. Now, most students, I assume, would be opting for management consulting, what we call strategy consulting, like a McKinsey. Then make sure you've read up on those companies, you know the kind of projects they get, the kind of assignments they get, even the kind of designations, that you'll progress through as part of the company. Typically, you will start off as an associate and then you will move up to a senior associate, eventually maybe a partner. So make sure you know how the hierarchy works. So in case you question, you can explain how you see your career progressing. So just read up on the company is my suggestion, because a lot of the times people just generally write consulting but they have no idea what a consulting company does. And not just consulting, whatever sector and industry it is that you want to work in, read up a little on that, especially on the top 2 or 3 players who you would like to work for, so that you can be a little more convincing and specific in your answers. Since I'm talking about goals and career options, let me also address one mistake that I think students make when they answer the goal question. So what is your long-term goal? Now, most students feel obligated to connect their long-term goal with what they've been doing in the past in terms of industry. So if you've been in banking, you would try to somehow connect your long-term goal to banking or to finance, even though you may hate banking and you may never want to go back to banking. Same thing with technology, with real estate, whatever it is. But that is not the right way to approach that question. So I'm not saying that you don't show a connect. There has to be a connect between your past and your future. You can't say all my past experience has been wasted because I plan to do something else now. So all I'm saying is don't connect your future workplace or future goal to your past workplace. Connect it to your past skills. So focus on what we call transferable skills. As part of your work experience, you must have acquired certain skills which you can apply in pursuing your goal. So the industries may be different, but the skills do not change. So think on those lines, and that will immediately differentiate you from most other applicants. To give you an example, I once had a student from a biotechnology background who wanted to get into investment banking. So if you look at it, the two streams are as diverse as they can get. However, the way he explained was, as part of my job in biotechnology, I conduct a lot of research. So the skills that I have acquired in that job, perseverance, lateral thinking, analytical skills, those can be replicated into an investment banking job, because there also you'll be doing research. So while the subject that you are researching will be very, very different, the skills will be overlapping. So think on these lines. When you do your brainstorming, go a little deep. What the GMAT calls higher order thinking. So don't just think on the surface. Go a little deep and think in terms of what skills can I bring from my past experience and apply to my future goal. If you can structure your answer using those skills, it will turn out to be a very impressive answer, and I'll be very surprised if you don't get an interview call. So let me address one more common goal that most students write: entrepreneurship. So a lot of students would write that they want to start their own thing, and that is basically their long-term goal. I see, while you may think that it makes you stand out, let me assure you at least half the applicants would mention entrepreneurship as their long-term goal. So if anything, it makes you sound like everybody else. So I'm not saying that entrepreneurship is a bad goal or that you should not think of starting something of your own. By all means, you should do so. I'm all for it. All I'm saying is in your answers, it should come across that you've given it some thought. Because entrepreneurship has this glamour associated with it. Especially in today's time, with startups getting billion-dollar valuations and being in the news all the time, there's a lot of glamour associated with entrepreneurship. So the B School would want to know whether you are attracted to entrepreneurship because of that glamour or because you really have some idea of what it is that you want to do or you could do. So I'm not saying that you have a ready business plan with you. Of course, nobody would expect you to have a business plan. But you should have some idea of what you would be doing or what you would want to do. Which sector, which industry, which stream, what skills, some idea. So don't give a very broad answer, I will start something on my own and I'll provide employment to 20 people and 30 people. All that sounds very, very nice, but the outcome will see through it that you don't really have any idea of what you're talking about. So go into specifics. Any answer, the way to make an answer sound more credible is to go into specifics. Use some numbers, some data. Don't speak in general terms. That's anyway not a good idea for any application essay. Now I'll address one last thing, again connected to the goal. A lot of the schools will ask you for a plan B. So you've already mentioned your plan A. Let's say it is to get into a leading management consulting firm, McKinsey & Company is your dream job from campus. What if that doesn't happen? What if you don't get the job? Then what is your plan B? Now you can answer plan B in two ways. One is you can give an alternative industry or sector, let's say banking. So your first choice was consulting. Your second choice, you say my plan B is to get into banking, but why? So that plan B has to again somehow be connected to something you've done in the past. So maybe your past experience is in banking. Then, while you may not be very keen to go back into banking, that can be a good backup plan for you because you already have the skills and knowledge which you can apply successfully in the banking industry. So while your desired industry would still be consulting, a backup can be banking. So what I'm saying is the backup plan should have some connection with your past. Don't give some random thing that if my consulting thing doesn't work out, I'll go into the entertainment domain because I'm fascinated with how the studios work. Don't say things like that. So whatever you say, a plan B should be connected to your past. I'll give you a slightly better way of addressing your plan B. So your plan A was to get into a leading management consulting firm. That doesn't materialize. So your plan B could be to get into a slightly lower rung or a tier 2 management consulting firm. Now you won't write tier 2 over there, make it sound a little better, but your backup plan could be to get into a slightly lower rung firm, which would be easier to get through, get some first-hand experience, and again try to make the move to your desired firm maybe 2 or 3 years down the line. This shows that you are very perseverant, you're not giving up on your goal, and that if you can't reach your goal using one path, you can change your path and try to get to the same goal. So it shows innovation, shows maturity, shows commitment. So a lot of things come out. I personally think this is a very good way of structuring your plan B answer. So give it some thought. The main takeaway from today's vlog is whatever answers you write in your application essays, provide some specifics in those answers. Don't talk on a very global level. The more specific you get, the more well-researched you sound, the more the outcome will be convinced of your answers. So I hope you guys found this vlog informative, and I shall see you tomorrow in a new vlog. Have a nice day.